All right. Good morning and welcome to the February 2027 Delaware County Council meeting. I call this meeting to order. If we could all stand for the pledge. Tommy, you want to kick us off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Present.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
Mr. Cantz.
Present.
Mr. Mokel.
Here.
Mr. Webb.
Here.
Mr. Whitehead.
Present.
Ms. Piper.
Here.
Mr. Freeman.
Here.
All right. Reminder, questions from the public may be directed to County Council DIST at co.delaware.in.us. Again, that is County Council DIST at co.delaware.in.us. Marissa, was the agenda posted?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, at this time, I will entertain an approval of the agenda. However, we need to amend to table the February 16th special meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. Thank you. All right, now I'll entertain the motion for the approval of the January 17th executive session minutes. Those were passed out prior to the meeting.
Moved. Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Dan. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, now I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the January 23rd council meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. And now an approval of the February 5th executive session minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, thank you. Moving on to the transfer and appropriation agenda.
Okay, starting out in County General, 1,000, we have jail, 145. 130, correctional officer. Well, I will say, all of these are correctional officer. 130, negative 26,530. F130, positive 26,530. F123, negative 33,813.37. G123, positive 33,813.37. E142, negative 30,774.80. F142, positive 30,774.80. C155, negative 33,352. D155, positive 33,352. Total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions? These are backfilling. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is prosecutor, Department 137. We have 118, deputy prosecutor, negative $25.28. 420 office remodel, positive $25.28. Total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan, and I know you all received an email that covered some of this. So do we have any further questions?
I don't have a question, but I do want to make a comment. There's been a couple meetings when I've made statements to department heads that for me to get my vote of yes, I'm requesting, if you're asking for, money to provide an invoice, statement, something to show where the money's going, an estimate, whatever it may be. And I want to commend you for providing that invoice. So it's only $25, but you followed through with it, and that's exactly what I was asking for, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Okay, public defenders, 139. We have 156, investigator, negative 30,000. A, 156 investigator, positive 30,000, total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. This is backfilling. Do we have any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Moving on to other, we have local public health services, 1161, C113, assistant registration, positive 1,000, 323, travel expenses, negative 1,000, total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. This was a little typo. Jamie, would you like to explain?
Yes, I'm embarrassed to admit that was, $1,000 I left out of somebody's salary that should have been there.
Any additional questions?
So is that gonna affect your travel expenses pulling it from there?
No, under that health fund, we had estimated pretty high on travel, since we have new staff coming in on, like, trainings that they're gonna have to go around the state for. So I think we should still come in under on that travel number that we have left.
Sorry, we increased from that, health fund from the state, correct?
Yes.
So your budget was a little bit different from everyone else's, where,
Correct.
it was better to actually increase versus try to trim it.
All right, any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Ms. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes,
Thank you, council.
thank you.
Okay, next is lit jail, 1170, 145. The first two, D 104 and E 104 correctional officers, you can cancel that. So the only one we have is D 114 correctional officer, negative 33,428.92. E 114 correctional officer, positive 33,428.92 for a total transfer of 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. These were backfilling, but now I have a question. Why did we remove?
I got a note from Nancy this morning that said, remove it.
Change it? Okay, well, thanks for staying. Any additional questions?
I have one quick question.
Yep.
How many openings do we have now in, the jail?
I believe there's only 3, and one of those is due to a promotion. We just have to wait till a promotion happens, and then we'll have everything ready to go. They've got some ready to hire.
Gee, having pretty good luck refilling these positions pretty
Now that you
quickly.
just said that, you realize what you just did. But yeah, right now we are. We're getting people in.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next would be addendums. We have County General 1,000, Circuit Court 138, C 120, Assistant Court Reporter / Bailiff, negative 28,753. D 120, Assistant Court Reporter, Bailiff, positive 28,753. Total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. This is more backfilling. Do we have any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Prosecutor 137, 118, Deputy Prosecutor, negative 2,410.26. 211, Office Supplies, positive $110.46. 441, Computers, positive $2,299.80. Total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. You want to share your new deal on computer monitors?
I found, our attorneys had been using some small monitors, and I found a deal on some Dell computer monitors, for, $115 a piece. And so I purchased 20 of them for our attorneys only. The monitors they were using, we've taken them and put them in storage. As our investigators need new monitors, we will replace them with those. And then I had to buy some adapters to make them work with their computers.
Any Any additional questions?
I guess I have to share some concerns about, I mean, I get it that it's a transfer, but it's still money that would have been used for something else had it not been spent. I guess I'm a little concerned about buying monitors when we already have working existing monitors.
They were small, you know, yes, I see your concern, but I think when we hired the new attorney, we got him new monitors. He had shared with me how much nicer it was to watch body cam on them, to be able to watch the jail interviews, how much clearer everything was. And so after speaking with the prosecutor, we thought that was a necessary tool for our attorneys.
And the old monitors aren't like tossed, they're
No,
left out to be
we have
used.
kept them, we will reuse them.
Any additional questions?
I think you mentioned at Finance Committee that you did run this past IT and they were supportive because it was a good deal.
They said it was a great deal, yes.
Okay, any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
With respect, no.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Auditor, 126, 121, support deputy, negative $27,056.90. A 121, finance deputy, positive $27,056.90. Total transfer, 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. This is a backfilling, part-time, moving into this role, correct?
It's not part-time.
Oh, it's not?
This was, full-time, moved to a full-time, full-time, moved to a full-time, and now part-time. Well, part-time's moving into full-time,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And changing the name, that's correct.
Hold on, wait a second. So you're saying this is a part-time position that we're making a full-time position?
No, the person who's working part-time currently,
Is going to fulfill the
Opening.
full-time position.
So it's not any new benefits or anything like that? It's already an open position?
Already an open
They're just,
position.
so there'll be an open part-time position?
It was due to, our head bookkeeper. And so one of the people moved to her position, and then the other person moved to that person's position. So then that opened up a different full-time position.
Now, did I remember that right? I think I seen an email on this. Is that, and that part-time position is now gonna close, is that right? Maybe I'm
I don't know that
mixing up two
it'll
different emails.
close. I mean, doesn't have to no.
Okay.
just frees up the
I could-
money.
I could be
It
thinking
just
about
free-
two different ones.
I mean, with part-time, you have a certain amount of money, so I don't think it really, I don't think you can determine whether you have one part-time person, two part-time, three part-time,
Right.
four part-time, as long as it works financially.
I got it. Thank you for explaining that.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. White. Excuse me, Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. You're back.
I'm back. Jail 145, H 108, corporal, negative 37,481. I 108, corporal, positive 37,481. Total transfer, 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan, another backfilling. Do we have any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
EMS 155, we have A 178 paramedic, negative 50,295.46. B 178 paramedic, positive 50,295.46. A 148 paramedic, excuse me, negative 42,903.98. B 148 paramedic, positive 42,903.98. Total transfer, 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. We've got some more backfilling. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please. Oh, yes, sorry.
I think you explained to Finance Committee the difference in the paramedic salaries, 50 versus 42.
One, one paramedic quit sooner than the other paramedic quit, and then he was also off for workman's comp stuff. So that is the difference in the salary. And the payout, one had more vacation days than the other, because he had been here for 12 years. So there's a difference in all of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Which also impacts the date that you can hire
Yes.
a new
Yeah,
employee.
the
so-
one there's one we can hire now. The other one we can't hire until, I'm gonna say, mid-March, I think it was.
All right, any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. Thank you.
Moving on to other, we have DCCC 9220, 105 HD case manager, negative 38,163.46. A 105 HD case manager, positive 38,163.46. Total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Some more backfilling. Do we have any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Next is financials. We have a major transfer, and that is going, they're both county general, but it's going from one department to another. We are taking from 123, 199 longevity, which is courts, negative $1,000, into council 157 longevity for county general. Did I say that backwards? No, I didn't. Positive $1,000, total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. This is something we don't do all that often, so would you like to explain that for us, Emily?
Sure. Emily Anderson, Court Administrator. We had an employee go from Title 40 court to clerk. The longevity is already budgeted in Title 40 court's budget because it's at 66.6% reimbursement. The longevity needs to travel with the employee, and with the longevity for the employee going to the clerk, all that longevity is under the council longevity, so I had to move that money with that employee.
Do we have any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, under county general, we have the clerk 125, 394 bank fees, $3,000, total $3,000.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Rick, would you like to explain this one for us?
Yeah, the state was gonna implement a new, money transfer system and a computer system for child support. And in doing that, we were not going to have any bank fees. It was all gonna be handled for us. That program and that system failed miserably, even beyond repair. So we had to go back to our old system, which means we're gonna be doing banking through our local bank, writing the checks, doing all the stuff. So we need the bank fees that we originally had in our budget that we took out.
All right, do we have any additional questions for the clerk?
I have questions. Last year, we had 15,000 in there, and this year, we set the budget at 10,000. I think you requested 12.5, and then when we did our budget meeting, requested,
You're on the wrong page somewhere, Ryan. We're talking about $3,000. Last year, I think we had 4,500 last year.
no, not 312, okay.
And then now we're down to 3,000. And we got that number by talking to the bank, amount of money that we, take
Okay,
in.
I'm on the treasurer's page. Well, no, I'm showing, shows 15,000 here, is item 312?
394.
Well, what are the bank fees in 312? Is that a different bank fee?
It's not got anything to do with
What
me.
department
but I
are you
know.
on?
Are you on
So I'm on the
125?
treasurer, I'm on the wrong page, that's what it was. I was gonna say, a $500 difference, curious about that. So is that gonna be enough for the whole year?
Yeah, that'll get us through.
Was it?
All right. Any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Okay, under other, we have Bridge Community Crossing Grant, 9035, 310 contractual, 325,760.65 for a total of 325,760.65.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Would you like to tell us a little bit about this bridge?
So this is the community crossing grant that you guys approved the funding for last year. It did not get added on to Angie's encumbrance list, so that's why we're coming back and asking for it now.
Could you state for the record what bridge has been replaced?
Yes, so it's Bridge 86, and it is on County Road 650 East at Campbell Creek, just north of 350 North. It's scheduled for closure of 120 days, and it was closed on February 19th.
You know, in finance, metric was brought out that about 500 vehicles cross this bridge every day.
Yeah.
And it was a wood timber bridge.
And the grant's paying 50%, and then the remaining match comes from the state?
So the 50%, that's the community crossing grant, and then we
That's
take care of the additional 50%.
sorry.
Do we replace it as wood, or is it gonna be concrete?
No,
And then last question, how many bridges do you guys have scheduled to replace this year?
That's a question you have to ask Angie. Angie's in charge of all their bridges and the closing and the rehabs of the bridges. So that'd be a question you have to address with Angie. Yep.
All right, any additional questions?
What's the longevity of a wooden bridge?
A lot of these wooden bridges were put in back in the 80s, late 80s. We're having issues with a lot of them. They should never have been put in.
Why are we putting another one in?
We're actually redoing one.
Sorry?
We're actually fixing one that was one of the older ones that we're having problems with. We do not put in wooden bridges anymore.
It's gonna be a cement bridge.
Yes, it's gonna be,
Ryan just asked if it was gonna be.
No, I just asked how many more they were gonna replace this year. not
yeah, I
necessarily-
don't know how many more, yeah. We actually replaced one on Black Cemetery Road probably 2 years ago. And the beams were all cracked. It's something that years ago, it was a bad choice. You know, it was a bad choice. There was no length in the lifespan of those. So it either goes to a bridge or to a culvert, aluminum box culvert. And then that goes, you know, we're talking 75, 80 years or more.
With all the wooden bridges we got and all the black bar bridges that we still got out there that are past their lifespan, seems like we're gonna have quite a few bridges to replace.
Yeah, there's quite a few, but there's not as many of the wooden bridges left as you think. We've replaced quite a few over the years with aluminum box, or Angie's rehabbing with something different. But that question about that, you know, what's coming up, I mean, that's something that you could talk to Angie about, and she can give you a list of what's coming up next.
I was just curious about it. I know that it's a priority I know it's not the big sexy expense that people like to spend government money on, but bridges have to be replaced.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, we're in charge of all the ones in the city also, you know, so we're in charge of all the city bridges, all the county bridges, everything, so.
Just so people understand, there's only 3 people own bridges in the state of Indiana. It's the state, the county, and the railroad.
Exactly.
Do we have any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
EMA, Ball Brothers Grant, 9209. We have 441 equipment, $5,000 for a total of $5,000.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. I'll let you share the exciting news about this one.
So myself and then Kyle Johnson with GIS applied for 2 $5,000 Ball Brother Rapid Grants to purchase a portable electronic message board. So kind of like what you see, you know, speed limits or lane changes or something like that. So we bought one. We're gonna purchase one for the solar eclipse, and then also to be used for emergency scenes or whatever, hazmat situations, car crashes, whatever. So it'll be ours to move around.
Does anyone have any additional questions on this portable electric message board?
I like to purchase them. Well, how do you use it for the eclipse?
We'll put it in like high traffic areas that we can say, you know, move left, move right, whatever. So
Oh, because I think they're.
then we can
they're trying to
reprogram those.
Put people like at the county fairgrounds or talking like that to like direct traffic and stuff.
Yep, we can use it for anything like that. It's programmable, so we can change that as we need it.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right,
Thank
thank you.
Ditto.
1 year periods from Kyle.
COVID-19 GIS 9207, 441 equipment, $5,000, total $5,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Ditto's a great answer, so.
I do have a question.
Yep.
How do you run these? Are they solar, or are they,
Yeah, they're rechargeable and has a solar panel too. Battery operated.
Do you like tow them on a vehicle?
Yeah, it's a trailer. Yeah.
They can be managed
I've
remotely.
seen them on the highway. I think I know what you're talking about.
You can manage them remotely, right?
Yeah, I believe, the one we're looking at has, it's like Bluetooth, so you can program it from your phone, so. Pretty high-tech, cool stuff.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Medical Inmate Care Fund, 4914, 311 Medical Services, positive $20,000, total $20,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Nancy, you wanna go over this one for us?
This is actually what pays for the dentist, the eye doctor, any medications outside of the medical contract, everything for the inmates. So this is actually money that I have put over into the fund, and we'll just bring it back out and pay it. I'll tell you that this will not be enough to get me through the end of the year. If one inmate, did he get out yet?
I don't know, I didn't find out.
One inmate costs us $7,000 right now. Psych meds,
Per month.
specialty drugs, they're all extremely expensive, and we have to provide them.
Yeah, so to add to that, our medical provider in the jail has their own pharmacy. They own their own pharmacy. And we buy almost every prescription drug, that we have to use in the jail at a deeply discounted price. But every once in a while, we get an inmate in that requires drugs that they don't carry. They're so rare, they're disease or whatever. These are the problems that we're having. So, you know, one of them is this one. Other ones are, you know, might be diseases that became popular in the 80s and everybody was really scared of. Also, along with the dentist, I'm gonna talk to them about this because we used to do a per inmate price on dental care. They got a new dentist in, and now we just pay a blanket price per month, regardless of how many. That's turning out that that's costing us a lot more, so I'm gonna see if we can adjust that somehow, but, these prescription costs, we can't do anything about, and they have to be paid.
So part of our discussion of finance was around the courts and a discussion with the courts that like one of these was like a psych med for somebody to actually be able to stand trial. And Emily kind of chimed in prior or during that about a conversation that's been going on trying to
Speed the process up. if
speed
we
the
can.
process up.
Yes, and luckily, everybody's involved with that, the prosecutor, the public defenders, the courts, and the jail. So these people, are being monitored as far as where they're at and the progress of their case, and they are trying to expedite their case, yeah. If they can't get out of jail, if it's somebody that we have to hold because of their charges, that process is in motion.
It's also news to me, I'll pull Ryan Webb here, that, an inmate is arrested, they're on Medicaid, when they come in when they're under your control, Medicaid stops.
We can't help that, That's a state thing. That's something that we need to lobby better at the State House about fixing that. Or maybe a national thing, I don't know, but I know that all 92 sheriffs in the state complain about that, yeah. And so do our medical providers, because it's ridiculous. There's a lot of federal benefits that stop once you go into jail. And you don't have to be convicted of that crime, just accused, and that's a foul.
So much for innocent until proven guilty, huh? I have a question.
Yep.
Short of these high expense inmates being charged with murder, is there a way to collaborate with like the probation department and prosecutor and judge as far as release someone on pretrial probation, with like an ankle monitor, or would we still be liable for the cost because they're technically still an inmate?
No, we wouldn't be reliable in that case, but it just depends on the charge and on their criminal history, whether or not they qualify for pretrial home detention or pretrial probation. If they do, believe me, we get them out. And, you know, and the probation department's really good. I'm gonna talk about that later, but believe me, if they qualify, we get them out.
I think this was my number, not yours, but said this won't get us through the year. It could be another $150,000.
I don't know that it would be that high, but I would look in between the $70,000 to $100,000 range to get us through between now and the end of the year.
So that's
Granted, I bring some money in and I can move that money, but it does not come in anywhere near as fast as it's going out.
it's gonna exhaust this fund. It would have to come out of
Yes.
county general.
Yes.
I have a question in regards to the jail. How's the federal program coming?
It's coming along pretty well. We've got 31 federal inmates as of this morning. So, it's working out great. And I'll talk about that later also.
Speaking of the jail, roof got replaced. The roof all good now, no leaks, no problems.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard about any leaks lately, so, yeah.
Good.
Did we cover the medical, how was that worked out with the federal? Did we cover their medical costs?
We do cover them up front. It's my understanding that those are supposed to be reimbursed. The contract doesn't say that, but we bill them anyway.
All right, any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Lincoln,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Mr. Mokel,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Piper.
Yes.
Misdemeanor, 1175, 371 contracts, positive $10,000, total $10,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Do we have, well, actually, you want to talk about this one too?
This is money that comes in that's reimbursed to the, or not reimbursed, it's given to the county, the misdemeanor fund. This money that we are asking for will cover the body scanner contract, maintenance contract for that, and also then what cell phones we have to have and the Wi-Fi we have to have totally for within the county, for the jail.
We don't own the body scanner?
Still have to have a contract with them for all the upgrades and maintenance and everything else,
We do own it,
yes.
but it's like buying insurance for your car, if you own your car. You know, if something bad happens, you got insurance, so that's what we're buying as a maintenance program for it.
Okay.
And this one too, you're gonna probably need to come and ask for more money later,
Maybe, we don't know.
or, okay.
So this money the misdemeanor fund, for those of you who are still fairly new, this is money that we get from the state. This money doesn't come out of county general, all right? So it comes to that fund that has to be used for jail purposes only. So we're just asking that we can use it.
Any additional questions?
Why is there not an offset charge then?
For what? What do you mean?
If you had $10,000 coming in, or if there's money in that account, why are you asking for additional monies?
I have to, I can't just spend that money, I have to
Uh,
appropriate it.
It's their money, they're asking our permission to
Yes,
spend it.
I have to come and appropriate it from you before I can spend any of it.
Yeah, they've got plenty in that account.
Thought there was like 150,000 in it, Tanya, wasn't that what you said?
Somewhere in there.
I have it on here.
159 for it.
159?
There you go.
Ellen, I
So
said
Jim,
one
you can find
ninety-eight,
that on this form, Jim.
shows a 198 surplus.
198.
98
That is before this
before the
month.
10. So can we not use any of that stuff for inmate care? I mean, that's a jail expense.
We never have before, but
Something as an option in the future. We get jammed up.
Can you at least explore that?
I will.
Just have to see what the restrictions are for it.
We appreciate that.
I will. Okay, I'll report back to you on that.
Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Spoko.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Mr. Piper.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Public defenders supplemental, 1,200. We have 314 witness fees, $3,000, total $3,000.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Would you like to explain this one for us?
Sure, Shelley Harvey, Office Administrator, Public Defender's Office. We hired an expert witness, we had regarding a certain, type of death. And we hired him, we went to the Public Defender Council, who, if we're stuck for expert witnesses, we call them and say, who's an expert in this? And they'll send us a list. This gentleman, and there were none in Indiana, and this gentleman is from Michigan, and this doctor is from Michigan. And so we have consulted with him. I told Finance Committee his CV's about that deep. We consulted with him, he went over medical records and charged us about, $2,600. If I would have been at that meeting, I would have sent you the bill for that, council, but, we're gonna incur more expenses with him, depending on the outcome of the case and whether he has to come and testify. So I will, that's coming out of our supplemental fund for now, and I'm waiting to pay him his $2,600.
Money in that fund, so. Do you have any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Mr. Piper.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Shelley, you have like 150,000 still in that fund.
Opioid response grant, 8199. 101 peer recovery coach, $1,250. 171 FICA, $4,100. 231 incentives, $7,200. 400 kiosk, $8,100. Total, $20,650.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. So this is a grant that the money's now been granted, and you're just appropriating those monies.
Yes.
Do you have any additional questions?
I was just hoping you could just inform us what the incentives, like that's the biggest line item, like what's an incentive, like what kind of incentives? Is it financial incentives?
Jane Miranda, Community Corrections. This is a joint grant with adult probation, so their incentives are gift cards, clothing items that maybe someone needs in the program. I know we give backpacks for adults in school. Anything that would help that individual in their programming. As they're doing well, they would get gift cards, candy. I know we give candy away in court, just different things for those individuals.
It's reward-based incentives.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Mr. Piper.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Someone like to read the motion?
Motion to approve financial transfers and amend salary ordinance with like reductions. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb. Yes. Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions, we have the second reading of our update to the salary ordinance, previously known as 2023-016. You should all have a copy that is now 2024-01. This goes back to looks like page 4. Bullet D, part-time level 4. It's a pay rate range of $20 per hour up to $25 per hour at the discretion of the elected official or department head. Types of jobs included are accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, legal, secretaries, court-related clerical positions requiring advanced computer skills, grants and operations, and positions that affect county liabilities. An advanced education, college degree, or minimum of 5 years prior experience of applicable job is related experience required. So we talked about this at our meeting on the 16th. This is just our second reading to put this into place.
Was there any changes?
There were no changes, correct?
No substantive changes, no, just the signature lines got moved around. But
Oh, that's right,
none of the text that is being amended was changed.
we had to make you the president pro tem board. Bill didn't want that title anymore. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about this just a little bit. In my experience with private companies and talking to others in the private sector, it always seems like there are multiple people who decide on salaries versus just a singular person. I think that this needs to have something in there that says maybe HR or some other entity besides just an elected official, department head, singular person would make this decision. Right now, the way it's written, I don't think I can be in favor of it.
I'm glad to hear you say that because I share your concerns. I'm not in favor of it for that reason as well. And a couple more. Number one, as I stated in the previous council meeting, I would be okay with the pay rate going from $15 to $20 and it being a set pay rate because $15 an hour isn't really a lot of money at all. Really it's 20, but it's a heck of an improvement. It's a 25% increase. I do not at all favor the scale going from $20 to $25 for a couple of reasons. Number one, paper, it's easy to say, well, so-and-so will do the hiring and so-and-so will determine the rate. What tends to happen in situations like that is someone has the opportunity to hire a friend and they're gonna pay him the max rate, at $25 an hour. We as a council set the salaries and set the number of positions for county government and we are being asked to forfeit that control of setting the salary to whoever hires this individual. The other concerns I have is that I've received a ton of calls since our last meeting from fellow county employees, and I brought this up at our last meeting. Full-time workers, most of them work about 32 and a half hours a week in this building and other county government jobs. Part-time is 29 hours, and I know there's a lot of people who they express concern that they've got 15 years in and they're sitting here at $18 an hour and there's someone hires them next to them working 29 hours a week, just 3 hours less and making $25 an hour doing the same job, and that's gonna leave a bad taste in their mouth. So I absolutely don't like the sliding scale of it. I'd be in favor of the 20 an hour, but not the range from 20 to 25.
I think something that we brought up at our last meeting too was a couple things. Part-time employees don't have benefits. And also too that if the department head, they only have an allotted amount of money in their part-time budget. So if they choose to pay someone at a higher rate at the 25, let's say, that's on them to make sure they stay within their budget. They would have to come before us to increase that part-time, and we can say no at that time. That's where we get to put our foot down, Ryan, but, we don't get to determine how many people they hire at part-time. That's all at the discretion of either the elected official who is chosen to do that role or the department heads. I'm not opposed to having someone else sign off on this since it is like one of the higher paid part-time salary. It is the highest part-time salary. You know. And these people too come back, we talked about this also at our last meeting, that the folks who would be coming in to do this type of work would have a skill set that if we had to hire an outside contractor would cost us significantly more money than using part-time, but.
I'm concerned with what he said about having someone, I like that idea, but who's that gonna be? And if we say HR, commissioners control HR. Commissioners tell you to hire somebody at that rate, that's what's gonna happen. Plain and simple. So that, again, is one of those things that looks good on paper, but in real world, it doesn't get, applied fairly.
Matt, you had a comment?
I don't understand what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is we've had employees that don't qualify for the standards that we set for county government, and the commissioners say, I want that employee hired, and that employee gets hired. So in this particular instance, if somebody higher up than HR orders HR to give them a $25 rate, then that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious, but that could happen at any level or any position, theoretically. And I don't disagree with what you're saying overall, Ryan, but I believe that the reason that this was put forth and the way Ed explained it previously, and what Jessica just tried to state relative to, having some flexibility to have a part-time level that could be brought in lieu of hiring outside folks does potentially save us money. But Eugene has a totally valid point, and I would put something else in there if possible, because at the discretion of the elected official or department as worded here, is the only, unless I'm missing it, that's the only level that states that, correct? Okay. I mean, there's no other, the way we have that worded is basically just says that particular person's, discretion, which again is trying to offer the flexibility, but at the same time, to Eugene's point, is perhaps ripe for problems.
I'm not aware of any other categories that have a range set like that.
Yes.
But, and to be clear, what we're talking about is for us forfeiting our oversight and discretion. Currently, we have that discretion. They would have to come up to that podium and say, I wanna hire this person, I wanna pay them that money, and we have to decide on that. If we vote for this, we're forfeiting that.
We don't vote on their part-time employees.
We vote on the salary.
We vote on the amount that they have in that bucket for however many employees they choose to hire.
We set the salary rate. We got it at 15 right now.
About the actual rate.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Yeah,
setting
but
the
that's,
salary.
it's still on the department head to stay within the means of the part-time budget that we give them every year.
I'd like to make a motion if I could.
Sure.
I'd like to move to amend, section 9, subpart D, I, strike the language that's in there and make it read pay rate of $20 per hour, period.
Second.
By Bill, second by Ryan. Any further discussion? We vote on the amendment, correct? So roll call on the amendment.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes?
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
I'd like to move for the adoption of ordinance 2024-01 as amended. Second.
I had a motion from Bill. Was the second Dan or Eugene?
Me.
Dan? All right, roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes?
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. Great. Thank you. Moving on to appointments and committee reports. Do we have any from the council or? Hearing none. Any old? Oh, you have one? Great.
Tax abatement committee met yesterday with the applicant, and that will be coming to the March meeting. I encourage them to get information out to the council well in advance. And look into it.
Great. Any other committees? Okay, I don't have anything old business. Do you have any new business? And we'll move on to elected officials and department heads. Thank you.
Tony Skinner, Delaware County Sheriff. This is usually information that I give in January, but, it's February this year. So, we'll start off with the front page. Meal cost, I do this twice a year. There are two categories on the front part of the top part of the page. The first one was the first 6 months. The second one was the second 6 months, and then right in the middle of the page, you see the, meal costs for the entire year. Meal costs for the jail averaged $1.72 this year. I do want you to take note in the top part where the first 6 months, it was $1.89. The second 6 months, that went down to $1.65. We served a lot more meals, in the second half of the year because our inmate population was higher, but that average cost per meal went down basically for two reasons. One is we started shopping around our food and we started buying cheaper from other places. And two, we filled a position that had been vacant for a while, so we really reduced our overtime. So kudos. I definitely want to give a shout out to our cooks, Don Johnson and the rest of the cooks in the jail. They do a great job. And then at the bottom, you can see the average cost per year. Just give you a perspective of what it's done for the past 5 years. Second page is the, what I refer to as the Quackenbush pension update. Started the year last year with just under 18 million in our pension fund and ended the year with 20,420,000. We gained 13.4% on our fund last year. I think that's pretty awesome. And then you've got the breakdown of where the money came from that went into the fund, from the county council's contribution, the sheriff's deputy's contribution, and then other money that we make from our paper service. And then you've got how much the fund distributed for the year. You also have the fees. There's 3 fees: Comerica Bank, McCready and Keene, and Baird. Baird is they do our investments. Comerica Bank, they cut the checks, and McCready and Keene is the actuaries that when people retire, they figure out how much their benefits are. Again, at the bottom, starting balances for the past years. Any questions on that?
I commented earlier, and I'll say again, there, questions been raised in past years about the investment fees. Baird is now at roughly 5% of the balance, and that's, I think, or 0.5%.
0.5, yeah.
And I think that's quite reasonable.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I'll pass that on to them. The next page is, Jim, you asked about this earlier about how the federal inmate program was going. So this is a breakdown of how much money we generated, not only from out-of-county inmates last year, but also from parole, which the state pays that, Department of Corrections, the state pays that, and then the federal inmates. So you can see the breakdown of how much money the jail generated, just under 700,000 last year. And then at the bottom, the previous 2 years. I did comment last year that in December, we went over the $2 million mark. If you add those up, you'll see that my math is correct. Pretty happy about that. Last month in January, and I don't know that we can I think we can, but I don't know. But in January alone, last month, we generated $112,000. So pretty excited about that. So to answer your question, Jim, yeah, the federal inmate housing program is going pretty good. The next page is just a snapshot of the jail and how many people we average each month. And you can see that in that first column beside the months, that's the average inmate population for the month. You can scroll down and see how that's steadily increased over the years. That's why we serve more meals in the second half of the year than the first half. But I want you to pay particular attention to that third and fourth column, the pretrial probation and pretrial home detention. Ryan asked a question about this earlier. This is the probation department going above and beyond, and I wanna give them a shout out. These are people that get arrested, that get put out either on home detention or on probation pretrial, so they haven't been convicted yet. So some of these people have ankle monitors, some of them get maintenance or monitored at home or whatever. But if it weren't for the probation department, these people would be in jail, okay? So I can't stress that enough, that the money you spend and the money the commissioners spend every year to fund this program, look at the numbers here and you can see these people would be in jail. So last month, or in December alone, I mean, you're talking about, 184 people would be added to our inmate population. That would put us way above 100% capacity in the jail if it wasn't for this program. So good job, probation.
Is there a reason that the two are missing, September, October?
Well, for some reason, they just didn't provide those numbers those 2 months, and I asked Jeremy about it, and he said, I don't know, they didn't give them to us those months. And I said, well, we need them. So that's all. They just didn't give them to us. And then the last page is just training hours for the sheriff's office. Our deputies trained a total of a little over 11,000 hours last year. That averages 255 hours per deputy. The state only requires 24 hours, so we're doing everything we can to keep our staff fully trained. And then you can see the number of hours that our instructors averaged also. So any questions on any of that?
Sure. You previously had talked about the medical expenses, and you said that you were billing the feds for their inmates. Are we getting paid by the feds for those federal inmates' medical costs?
We do, and I'll have to see about that, because I remember that was a big sticking point with the contract with them, because the contract said that we have to incur those costs. I had a phone conversation last summer before the contract was signed with our medical provider, myself, and 3 different people from the U.S. Marshals, and they said, we understand it says that you bill us for those. Our medical provider also is the medical provider for several other jails in the state that houses federal inmates. And they bill the federal government, they bill the U.S. Marshal Service for medical costs for those inmates. So I'm certain that eventually we get reimbursed for that, yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Sure. I asked you earlier, and I neglected to write it down. Tell me how many federal inmates you have again, please.
This morning we had 31.
And what is your goal?
The break-even point for the year is 20 a month, average 20 a month. So if we average 20 a month, we meet our, what we did in last year's budget for our anticipated revenue. So we're well above that. We'll hit that number by August.
What was your goal, please?
The maximum is 50 that we put in the contract, that we'll house up to 50.
Well, you hit 50. I mean, you see that?
That's up to them. That's up to the Fed. So what happens is when they get inmates, when they get people that get arrested for federal charges and they go to court and they have to be detained, the U.S. Marshals ship those out to different jails around the state. So it's up to them to say, hey, Delaware County, we've got 2, come and pick them up. We don't create that number. It's up to them.
Sheriff, federal inmate number for 2023 was $103,594. Took a while to get that program up and running,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
could you kind of just even though that's a significant number, it's nowhere near kind of what we're expected to do this year, right? 'Cause
So in January, we billed the federal government, $62,000 just for January alone. So more than half of all of last year's number, yeah.
Okay. So the train's going down the tracks at full speed now versus last year.
We've got momentum with that program. It took a long time. It took literally almost a year longer than we thought it would to get that contract signed and get this in place, but it's rolling now, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
If you buy somebody a few more lunches, we could get a few more of those federal inmates.
At $1.72, I'll buy them all a lunch they can eat.
Sheriff, we appreciate this, and I realize you thought it was 1 month late, but I think the council agrees that, sometimes it takes a minute to reconcile the books in January.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, who's next?
Good morning. Steve Foster, Building Superintendent for Justice Center, 911 in this building. First start off with, updates. I don't know if you guys know much on what's going on. I think some of you was involved last week with the gas leak next door. According to the fire department, it was minute, but it was about 4 foot high, full of gas in that whole basement of the whole jail. I don't know about you, but minute, blow that thing right off the foundation. So that was taken care of. We also had an air handler that we had some freezing out there and busted some air handlers, and we're getting that taken care of. Insurance, so that's going good. But I think the bigger thing is the roof. Seems to be Ryan wants to know about it, so let me go over the roof issue. So the roof has been put on. The roof is complete. The roof has no leaks in the shingled roof. No leaks since it's been put on. Do we have leaks? Yes, we have. We had one leak in the adult probation, which was actually the pipe that was leaking. We had a leak in Corporal Brown's area, which was the flat roof, which was a drain. Jeremy Dye's area was 4 leaks. Jeremy's was actually the sprinkler line. So the other one was the gable end. We had some, from the vents, we had a leak there. We had 2 condensation leaks. But then let me reiterate, there is no leaks. I'm also going to address the contracts or the winning of the bids. That was me. I got the bids. They were sealed bids. I took 3 people on the roof. I researched, so I didn't have this problem. The gentleman that done the roof is not, never has, never will be any relation to Commissioner King. I done that because if he needed to be, he needed to sign a waiver. I got all the personal bids myself. I turned them in to the lawyer. They opened them all up here. I did not take bribes. I did not show people bids. That's a fact. I've been accused of that once before, and I proved that situation wrong. When I took the job 6 months into the job, I had an HVAC guy say I took a bribe and showed a person a bid, and they won the bid. The bid was $9,100 cheaper. Do you think if I showed the bid to the other guy, he would have come $9,000 cheaper? No. Address me if you have any problems, not the commissioners. I took care of the roof issue. I got the bids. I turned them in. They was opened here. I asked a local contractor if he wanted to be on the job. I'm not going to mention the name. They did not want to bid against the job. I done this job completely right. I got the 3 bids I want. Did I take recommendations for people? Sure I did. But the roof was done. We took the cheapest bid. The drip edge does not, got it right here, it's from MBS. The drip edge was not in the bid. It does not void the warranty. MBS has sent me a signed documentation saying they will back the roof, and I personally inspect that roof myself multiple days, even when the job's finished. If there is maybe a dent or something in the fascia or something like that, we can fix it. The fascia does not have to be replaced. It is a commercial building. It does not have to be replaced. Two reasons we didn't replace it. It didn't need replaced. And number two, if I turned the fascia, it would be a whole different color and we would see it on the building. That was a decision I made. I'm the building superintendent. I think I can do that. So, that being said, I want to address another thing. We've had everybody come up and talk about the jail. We've had them talk about wages. You know, last year, the commissioners came with me trying to get a full-time employee. Part of that full-time employee, I had to give up overtime, and I did. Everybody had to give up money, and then we turned around and the council gave people money and this, that, and the other. You know, we talk about the jail, we talk about the federal inmates, we talk about all the money and everything. That jail is ran by two maintenance guys, me being the three, two. So there's three people, 24/7, 365 days a year that runs that building. So when we have to go in after hours, you know what? We don't get paid for that. It's called a comp time. Me personally, and I have 230 comp hours plus what I get a year from vacation and everything else. I don't have the time to use that. I got another one's got 150. I got another one that has 130. Because, you know, people say they can't go down to Indianapolis and they can't watch their grandkids, this, that, and other. I was literally going this weekend in Missouri trying to see my grandkids. I got 5 calls. I got back at 10 o'clock. I got a call from the Justice Center. I got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning. The council says they like riding around. The next time I get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning and the toilet is full and I have to go in and get gloves on and dig it out, give me your number. I'll call you. You can come in. You can ride along. The next time my employee rides around on a tractor in 20 below zero in nothing but just a tractor, it's a lawnmower. So I praise all these other departments, but I tell you what, you know, I've got 2 guys that runs that 24/7. And, you know, I've talked to the commissioners. They've tried to find everywhere to pay us for that compensation for 230 hours. I don't think there's a person up here that would work. They come in every day, and I come in every day if it's called in after hours. And knowing that they may get that time, one of them's 54, so the way the council, the way you guys pay out and the way everybody pays out, he has to retire in 13 years. So he's liable to have 1 billion hours comp time he's got to be paid out. That's why we ask for overtime. That's why we ask for the council to put overtime in. Because these guys and I am expected to just come in and work, and you may get paid, you may not, just depending on how you do it. So, that's what I'm trying to get at you. We don't take bribes. I got 2 hardworking staff. I understand everybody else does, but I don't think the council and everybody understands. There's one gentleman that runs this building. This building's not too bad. There's two gentlemen that run that building out there. Them needs money to take these buildings. Every time we come up and ask you guys for money, you fight it. You're going to have to put money in these buildings, folks. You're going to have to work with the commissioners because these meetings, all these other meetings are not going to exist if you don't start taking care. I think you made the comment, a lot of you made the comment about the $6 million. We have it. We need it for a rainy day. It's a rainy day, folks. You got 3 buildings. You have to take care of them. You have to maintenance them. You have to start working together. And you have to start working with me and my staff. And I hope that you guys look at the comp hours and maybe see it in your hearts to figure out how to pay us. But if you have any more issues about thinking if we're corrupt, taking bribes, letting our friends or whatever, I'll leave you all my business card. But it's not. Come to me, but I will be back at every meeting to address that. I'm not corrupt. I do what's best for these people, these voters out here, and for you. I wouldn't embarrass any of you. I wouldn't embarrass the commissioner, and most of all, I wouldn't embarrass myself. I got more pride in myself for that. So with that, I am done. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other elected officials, department heads? All right, do we have anyone sign up for public comment? Do we know? Do we have any public comment? All right, comments from the council. You have any comments, I think, Mr. Whitehead, maybe?
Yeah, I'd like to say a few things. First off, with what, John Catino and Kyle Johnson did, I think that's great. I think it's gonna benefit the county and forward thinking on their part to get that done, especially for the eclipse. I think that's gonna be good use for the eclipse and then good use for the county going forward. I'd like to thank Tommy Humbert and his staff all out at the county building Saturday. For those of you that were out early in the morning, it was icy, it was dangerous. And I followed a sand truck going to work, and the gentleman went on over a hill. It was real icy, and I watched him turn around and come back and resalt that hill, which means a lot to me because I live right close to a severe, what I call, sloped hill. And that safety and that extra effort means a lot to me, Tommy. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to commend the Extension Office for their annual meeting. Justin Curley and all his staff. Last week, they did a presentation and showed just how much of an impact they make on the community, how many students and children they teach, and then as well as adults. So I'd like to commend the Extension Office. Most of all, I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Skinner, thank you for the opportunity to ride. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Lopez, Corporal Ward, Deputies Waters, Branson, Brown, Russell, Robbins, and Parker. I'd planned just to ride for about 6 hours, 8 hours at the most. Some of you know that there was an incident on Wheeling where there was a lot of sheriff's officer manpower there. I got to sit in a car with a full vest on for at least 7 hours. And what comes down to is, while there was a lot of waiting, all of the important parts got put together. The sheriff's officers, along with the U.S. Marshals, executed a search warrant. The bad guy got arrested and put to jail. What really means the most to me, though, is the neighbors of this particular home came out and were giving sheriff officers hugs because they knew a bad guy was being removed from the streets and their children are now going to be safer because of it. And that really means a lot to me. So kudos to the sheriff's office.
All right, do we have any additional comments from council?
Yeah, I have some comments. Glad you got to do that ride along. Those are, interesting to say the least. I've always enjoyed do it. And, thanks to the sheriff for allowing that. I think anybody can do a ride along. All you gotta do is get in touch with them. You know what, be elected official, do a ride along. Just reach out to the sheriff and he'll put you in position. Kudos to Mr. Foster for his comments earlier. And I think transparency is important. It's one of the things I've based my entire time as an elected official on, is transparency. And I'm glad that he spoke and offered a little bit of transparency for some things that may be uncertain. So thank him for that. And what I wanted to say is, in addition to his comments, our county government, our local government, our city government cannot operate without transparency. Transparency has to be at the forefront of every decision that we make. Hold each other accountable, peer accountability. Definitely confidence in the citizens. You can't have confidence in your local government without the transparency. And let's be honest, the last few years, not the county government, but local city government. There was some issues. There was some issues that caused some people to go to jail, and it kind of rocked people's confidence in their local government. So we have a higher standard to meet to overcome that, because that's occurred. I've been contacted, and I'm sure other people have been contacted. I'm not unique in that aspect of people reach out to me when they have concerns, but I've been contacted by county employees who can't speak out. They can't use their voice because they're worried about their position, they worry about their job, they worry about their family's jobs. And it shouldn't be that way, but in real life it is. I've been contacted by fellow elected officials and department heads. Same thing. They're not in a position to use their voice. They reach out to someone who will be their voice. And I made a promise that I will be that voice, whether it casts a negative shadow or whether it affects contacts, friendships with fellow, employees, department heads, elected officials, whatever. That's not what we signed up to do this job for. We signed up to do this job to represent the people. And if you make some friendships along the way, that's great, but if you do what you're supposed to do and that costs some friendships, then it is what it is. That's the cost of doing business. That's what happens when you do the right thing. And what I'm leading to is all of you people, the department heads, you elected officials, you citizens who've reached out over the last 3 months and who have been desperate for some answers and want to know what in the world is going on, and you have concerns and questions about how your tax dollars are being spent. I'm speaking to you directly right now, okay? And I want you to know that I have heard your message, and I'm going to be the voice for you, and I have reached out to the State Board of Accounts, and I've requested a forensic audit, and I feel that's the best way for transparency, to show itself and to prove to everyone that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. If you're not gonna hear it from our voices, you can hear it from a third-party source whose job it is to hold us accountable. So I'm not gonna name individual departments, but there's a couple departments in specific that we'll be focusing on, but I just want you to know that I've heard what you've said, you've reached out, and, you know, people are doing the right thing for you. They are representing you, and they want you to have confidence and faith in your local government. And if that means an audit is what it takes to prove that and help deliver that faith, then so be it. That's what we'll do. So I just wanted to make that announcement, let you know that you know, I've taken your concerns to the next level, and you know, we'll see where it goes from there. Thank you.
All right, do you have anything else? Don't have any additional comments this time, other than stick around. In about 10 minutes after we wrap up this meeting, we will move to our public hearing for the solar farm. So stick around. I believe that will be a separate YouTube video. So if you're watching online, you'll want to refresh your live stream page to get to that new video. Other than that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Mr. Piper.
Yes. All right. We'll see you next month.